us as eyewitness. We've got the owner of the heads here.
Hello.
And I always do this whenever they come if they request it. We just took a stock head that he had brought up here and we CC'd the stock intake port on the head. What we come up with there?
Came up with 88.2 centimeters.
Right, 88.2. So now we're going to find out how much we cut out. Now remember, this is a very small head. It's not like a big port. We're talking a stock port volume of 88.2 cc's. So that's a little bitty thing. We get a big cc involvement and enlargement in this deal. There's a ratio of what it would be on a small block, but I got a feeling it's going to be pretty phenomenal. So let's get the other head up here and see what we got on it. We just CC'd that port to one of the centers that we CC'd off the other, and we come up with 98.2. So there has been a 10 cc enlargement of the intake runner. Now all you V8 guys out there hear that. I mean, that's decent on a Chevy 350 LT1 or whatever, but remember, what's the size of this motor? 2 liters?
1.9.
1.9 liter. So if you tried to compare that to a V8 engine and valve diameter and what have you, this would be like a 15 to 20 cc port enlargement on a small block Chevy head, proportionately speaking. That is a tremendous amount. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'd be scared to hit it anymore because when I sonic the head, it was starting to get thin in that area around the bowl. So I knew I was running across a danger point. But all this is done with a stop valve. So 10 cc enlargement, the tubes, all that stuff. This ought to be a humdinger. All right, let's go ahead. We'll go to the assembly of it now. The conclusion here of the Volkswagen head with a 10 cc port increasement. And I might add the first 4-cylinder head that I've ever tubed to get a straight shot to the valves. Valve job on this thing come out real good. I had an average seat width on the intake at around 50 thousandths and on the exhaust about 60. And the reason I went a little bit bigger, this is a turbo head. Turbos develop more heat. Also a little extra clearance on the exhaust side. And who I've got here is Richard, who drove all the way up from the great city, what, Atlanta?
Yeah, east of Atlanta, about an hour.
Alright, so I'm going to give the camera to you in a minute to tell my customers what you witnessed, what you seen, and how you feel about what I've done. And if there's something you need to say bad, I don't care. The film's on you.
I don't think there's a whole lot you can say bad about this valve job. We brought the head up to Tony, and we said we want to do something a little bit different because we're going on a real long trip with this car. And we said we want gas mileage out of it. And Tony kind of smiled and said, you're going to get a lot of gas mileage out of it, but you're also going to gain some horsepower. And so I said, that'd be great too. But coming back and looking at the workmanship and the quality of the product that Tony puts out, if you have a Volkswagen, I guess anything, but we're partial to Volkswagens. So if you have one, you need some great work done, this is the place to have it done. There's nothing else we can say except bring it up. We're going to be putting it on our car, and you'll be able to follow it through. We have some links coming back to Tony, and you'll be able to follow the process through as we put the head back on, and then as we make our trip down to Panama, Central America. So,
right, yes, what I think. You're driving all the way to Panama in this,
yes,
staying down there a few months and then driving it back. So this will be a real good endurance test, and I hope you send us some info and some videos, and I'll post it to the YouTube channel, which is the Work on Your Head, so people can see what you've done and how you did it.
Absolutely. That's going to be up for everybody to have a look at. So this will be the proof in the pudding, as they say. So,
there we go.
again, head bites.
Well, Richard, I can't thank you enough for coming up here and doing this with me and giving me a third hand over there on them keepers. That was a hell of a thing there. We didn't have the actual machine on that to compress it, so when you do that, it takes about 4 hands to put them,
or 6
or 6 hands, but we got it done. All of it in there. It had to be a multi-groove like a Chrysler. See, I think Volkswagen and Chrysler are in cahoots on their valves.
They probably are.
All right, well, hey, y'all have a safe trip back to Atlanta, and goodbye, YouTube.
Thank you.